Appreciate all the love and requests for me to review this movie that had to have been the #1 comment in my review for The Strangers Chapter 2. As the story goes, on Thursday I pulled another double feature, one battle after another in The Strangers Chapter 2. I opted to review The Strangers Chapter 2 because, in all reality, I wanted to sit on one battle after another for a day. Unpack it. I still feel that was the right call. For The Strangers Chapter 2, there was no such necessity. So I appreciate your patience. All right, in this politically unified climate, let's talk about this movie. So One Battle After Another is the new Paul Thomas Anderson film. Actually has a pretty big cast of notable actors, but the ones it really revolves around: Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, and Chase Infinity. Leonardo DiCaprio plays a former member of a group called the French 76. I feel like this whole thing is a litmus test for the algorithm to figure out where reviewers lie politically. They do bomb buildings after all. Are they domestic terrorists or revolutionaries? Depending on the label, the robots will know where you lie politically, YouTubers. I sniff you out, robots. I ain't playing your fucking game. Point is, it's been 15 years. DiCaprio's character is a total stoner, washed up, burnout, paranoid dad. And Sean Penn's character, Colonel Lockjaw, that's his name. An epic name I don't even consider part of the satire of the film, because that name takes me to that banger track in Donkey Kong Country 2, Lockjaw's Saga. You remember. On repeat, baby. Point is, Lockjaw's coming after his daughter, played by Chase Infinity, with a powerful will, so he needs to save his daughter. Boiled down, that's essentially the plot. Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, Chase Infinity, Tiana Taylor, everybody in the movie clocks into work. Not a bad performance throughout. In fact, pretty stellar throughout. Everybody's an absolute professional, but that's what you expect from a Paul Thomas Anderson film. Even if the movie's not your thing, in full transparency, Paul Thomas Anderson, I feel like every time I go to a Paul Thomas Anderson film, I'm still chasing that Boogie Nights dragon. I still think that's his best film. I said it. It is what it is. So whatever I say in this review, know that it's coming from that place. But even if, whatever the film, Paul Thomas Anderson film X is not your thing, you can't deny the acting in that film, probably pretty stellar. And the same goes here. This film blends a lot. It's a crazy hybrid. It deals with heavy subject matter, but has moments of satire woven in that kind of brings levity to the... I always appreciate it when a filmmaker's like, yeah, this heavy subject matter, but you can still have satire and make jokes. There were some moments in which I felt the satire did compromise some of the intensity. I did feel the character it worked best with is definitely DiCaprio's character. His character fits the vibe of the film best, and let's face it, DiCaprio's an absolute legend of acting. Sean Penn clocks into work, absolutely, but I did feel more conflict when it came to his character and the movie's tone. The first scene you see him in, which is a scene with him and Tiana Taylor, I was like, the fuck is this? It just felt tonally inconsistent, oddly out of place. Maybe it's because it's the first scene in the movie and I hadn't climatized to the tone this movie was actually going for yet. But man, when he's scary, he's scary. This guy coming after this girl, like if this guy's the guy coming after your daughter, there's no good news. And you appreciate the fact that this underdog stoner burnout dad's like, no, I'm gonna protect and save my daughter. But I did feel there were a couple of those comedic moments with his character that compromised his menace. Like if you look at Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Bastards, he's actually pretty goofy at times, but those goofy moments don't compromise how menacing he still feels. Sean Penn does have great moments of menace, but I felt more conflict when it came to his character and the oddity of the tone of the film. Definite shout out to Chase Infinity in this movie. She's great. Even more impressive when I found out this is, her second big acting gig? She hasn't been in a lot of stuff, but she's talented. I felt Benicio was the biggest standout with the least amount of screen time. It doesn't hurt that when the movie finds its stride, he really stands out. And I do emphasize when the movie finds its stride, because when the movie was setting up, we'll call it the first act, it felt a little choppy, like it was fast tracking it, but it still felt like it dragged a bit. This movie oddly feels like a 4-hour movie that's almost a 3-hour movie. Director's cut may be on the horizon, given the waves this movie's making, at least online. Depends on if people show up in the theater, that's another conversation. But yeah, for the first hour, I was like, you can't escape the hype, you know? The internet's so big and so invasive. Even on Rotten Tomatoes, you know, Rotten Tomatoes, the way it works, if 100% of critics give the movie a 60%, which is fresh, the movie will have a 100% Rotten Tomatoes score. This movie has a 97% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's not 97% of critics found the movie enjoyable enough. We're talking 5 out of 5 stars, 10 out of 10 score on the critic reception side of it. There is some transcendent experience I've yet to feel. Then an hour in, the movie found its stride, it had a momentum, and it kept going. I was like, oh, this is the movie they're talking about. Interestingly enough, talking about the main motivation of the movie, the main point sounds like a spoiler, so I'm not really going to go into detail. It's kind of like an Avengers Endgame, when all of us came out of Avengers Endgame and we were like, I have to review a time travel movie and not even mention time travel because no one knows it's a time travel movie. Okay, this movie doesn't have time travel. I'm just saying, you know, it's that kind of, I can't talk about the thing. But keeping it vague, there is some super secret white supremacist racist organization that Lockjaw wants to get in with, and that's why he's doing the things he's doing. And at first I was like, there's such a weird out of place element in the movie, but the way Paul Thomas Anderson pokes fun at it, it's like, oh, those billionaires, those puppet master clubs controlling everything, and in the end, they're the kids in the treehouse with the club, and that's what you are. But this movie's long, man. This movie's nearly 3 hours long, and yes, it does feel like a 4-hour movie that's been cut down to 3 hours. So the first act and the last act feel choppier than the second act. I feel like this movie needed to commit. Like, release whatever 4-hour cut might have been the first cut of the film. Like, Godfather it and make it this wild family odyssey. 4 hours long, or take the first act, the last act, either or both, and trim 20 more minutes off the film. But in the end, all things considered, I enjoyed myself in this one. It took a bit to get going for me to see what the hype was all about, and even then, by the end, I'm not on the hype train for the movie, but I did enjoy myself. I had a good time, no alcohol required. Yeah. It's no Boogie Nights, but you know. Alright, so one battle after another. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? What's your favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film? Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.